One of the things you may want to do with your board is to write on it like a whiteboard. And in order to do that, I'm going to show you what app you're going to need. If we look at this home screen, we have three options here. These are files. These are apps because this is actually an Android device. And right here is called S-Write, and that's your interactive whiteboard. So you open S-Write. Your board came with 2 pens. The pens are stored by a magnet on the front of your screen. It doesn't matter which pen you choose to use. There's a thin point and there's a thick point. And you can control how each one of these operate. Down at the bottom of your S-Write board, you will find options along the bottom of the screen. The first one looks like a paint can, and that is your background. So you have different color choices. All will have the grid, all of the colors have the grid in the back. It really helps when you're doing math or handwriting, and they're very faint, so they really don't take away from the effect of what you're drawing on the board. You go with any number of colors. It also comes with some sports backgrounds if you happen to be coaching. It also comes with lined paper background, which may come in very handy. Or if you're a music teacher. You may add additional backgrounds, but we're not going to get into that right now. I'm just going to keep it simple. All right, my next thing is, it looks like a pen with 2 different ends. That would be referring to this with the 2 different ends. If you click on thin pen, then you decide on a color. So I just clicked pink, and you write with the thin pen, it's going to write in pink. I can make the thick pen a totally different color. I'll make that yellow. So the thick pen will now write in yellow. You may also write with your finger. Your finger goes with the same settings as the thick pen. One more option for your thick pen is to make it an eraser. So this is more for erasing things that are small bits. Sometimes you might get your thick pen writing like your thin pen. That just means you're catching an edge and you're not going fully thick on it. See, if I go straight on, it's thinking I'm thin pen. But if I make it a bit bigger, if I get more surface area on there, it'll erase. And of course, my finger will also work as the thick pen. You also have choices of how thick you want your pen to be, and the same thing with your thin pen. So now that's thicker. Your next is kind of subtle. It's just how the lines are drawn, a little more flowy if you have that on. It doesn't really matter. Your next choice has a hand on it. If there's only a dot on one finger, then you can only write one thing at a time on the board from one point. If it's all 5 fingers, it's the multi-touch. And you can write in multiple ways and multiple spaces on the board. More than one person can write on it, or you can write more than one thing on it. In the middle, you can choose a cover. So choose like a spot that you want to highlight on the board when you're talking to your students. X gets rid of that. You can import a picture, which you can do with a thumb drive, a number of different ways, but you could have a thumb drive and insert it into one of these here and be able to access those pictures. Patterns, which is your shapes, but make sure you have select pattern on and it will allow you to do your shape. So there's my circle, and I'm choosing what color I want my circle by choosing a color to the left. Select. This one has a finger and a little box. This is select. So if I want to select something and then move it, make it bigger, or shrink it up. Also a duplicate here, and you can move it. You can undo something, you can redo it, or you can just get rid of the whole thing. One more way to erase that comes in handy is with your hand. Mostly the bottom part of your palm. You want to place that on the board, and when you see a white box, you couldn't probably see the white box, but you'll know what I mean when you try it, then you can use your hand to do bigger erasers. Pretty handy. You're not stuck with just one page. Here's page number 1. If I add a page, here's page number 2, 3, and so on. If I want to get back to one of the previous pages, I can arrow back or click the middle. This says I have 4 pages and I'm on 4 out of 4. And I can look and see what I drew on those pages so I would know what page I wanted to return to. I hope that gets you started using your interactive whiteboard feature. And as always, if you want to get back to the original screen, use either the menus here, or at the bottom, and click the home button.